Alright, welcome back to the channel. We got the comment out this morning. We are gonna assemble Randy's Mustang today, so I'm waiting for him to get here. I got a lot of his parts set up. I got to put the window in this first door. I've already got the window in that door, and then we've got Zeus fasteners. We got a lot to do today, so I'm gonna do some footage on the Comet later on outside, but for right now we're gonna get started on Randy's stuff, and then I will just kind of update y'all as we go along. So on his doors, I had already done this one at the shop, if you recall, in one of the latest or one of the older videos. We got to put these optic armor windows in. They're just going with Allen screws through them. So this side is the one we have to install. I already did that one, and then we got some odds and ends. You know, we need lock washers and stuff like that on these. So we're gonna have to make some hardware store runs a day, probably more than once. So I'm gonna get this window mounted in there, and then you know, move on to the next task. All right, so Randy's car is here. He's about to go park the trailer down the road because I just don't have room in my front yard. And then we are going to get this thing pulled into the driveway and start getting on it, start knocking down the checklist of everything we need to do, all the final assembly, and we'll show y'all all the details this weekend of everything on this car. This is what we got, is we got odds and ends to do. So the door, if you recall in the other video, we need springs put on these latches. Let's see here, we've got the carbon cowl panel that needs to go back on it. We just need to put some screws in it. We need to we got to get the windows set at some point, trim put back on, clips put back on the trim. Let's see here, we got the Zeus rails that have to go back on the front end. I don't think we're using these lights. Yeah, he already actually has one piece lights in there. So Zeus rails have to be fitted back on the car. And then just go through and everything else. At some point he needs to get his seat. If he picks that up from his house, maybe tomorrow, we can get the seat put back in it. Align the doors, make sure they're opening and closing smoothly. You know, just go over everything and make sure all the panels are functioning correctly and coming on and off easy. All right, so Jeff come by with fast glass to set Randy's windows, and what he's done is he uses this product. He's cut this big like V in it, so you can see that it actually stands it way up. That way it's closer to flush, because Randy had complained on the last time that the glass was too low, so there's a gap between the trim. So he's standing the urethane way up, and then they'll just gently set it on there, and instead of squishing it way down, he just gently sets it and not squishes it, and it brings it up like this, way closer. I mean, this is nice. The trim is bent right here a little bit, but like all of this, like you can't even get nothing underneath it. It's nice and flush. So they got the front one in. They're about to put the back one in now. All right, so we pushed them back in, got the windshield in. Doors are on them. Still got to check the alignment on this one tomorrow, but we had decided to head down to Fayetteville. There's a bunch of people testing, and John is actually racing. Randy was definitely going to go. I was on the fence about just staying and working on this, but I realized we actually don't have a ton left on this, that we can knock this out in about half a day tomorrow. So I'm going to head on down to Fayetteville also to give them a hand and let these two sleep together and do their thing this afternoon and get back at them in the morning. But we grained some grounds at least and figured out some stuff, realized some stuff that he forgot at the house that has to be brought tomorrow, and you know, get a better game plan for tomorrow. So we'll push them back out in the morning and get back with y'all. All right, so we got these guys back outside this morning. It's Sunday morning. So we're gonna wrap up this. I need to take the doors back off, get them clean because they were a mess. We still need to put on our piece up here. Hoping Randy brings some more parts today with him. And then we have to put our bell mouth, our Pro Charger bell mouth piece in the front that he runs. And let's see here, we have to do the Zeus rails, fit the hood back on with the Zeus rails and make sure they're at the correct height. I need to throw a little air in these tires and then just clean this thing up 100% and put it in the box so it can go on to get brakes done tomorrow. We got to get the moldings back on the quarter panels and basically just clean everything up. And we have a bunch of glue on here that we have to get off from the first time it was wrecked, where they had taped the molding on. So a bunch of touch-ups today and a bunch of cleaning. Let's get started. Looks like Randy's definitely gonna be cutting a hood, so she hits, but we are not gonna cut it today. He has another guy that's going to get the brakes put on, and they are gonna cut the hood so it comes out through the actual hood with the elbow. It has to be cut. Yep.
You got 10 pounds put up front here?
Where at? In the center? Yeah, should be good. Y'all don't ever let Randy tell you that this is not a street car. Look at that. It's got an alternator. It's probably got a radiator hid in here somewhere.
Got a radiator but don't want no water.
So he's at about 2760 total weight right now. They're scaling it out, and then he has to do something with the shocks. He's getting some different shocks, doing some shock changes. Springs, my bad. The wing, what does it weigh, Randy? Do we need to put anything on the back of the car to simulate the wing?
Carbon fiber, 5 pounds.
So we put the little bit on the back just to simulate the wing. Oh, you also had the parachute on the back, Randy, too. That was pretty.
Yeah,
that was pretty decent.
Courtney, that wing might weigh 2 pounds.
Oh, okay.
So parachute.
So we countered it out. So we got the Zeus rails put back on the front end, and I actually had a piece left over off of Randy's hood if you remember the video where we cut it out so that it would clear the cowl. So I had saved this at the house and sanded it a little off messing with it, but that was the same. I mean, this is literally the hood. This is a piece of his hood. So what I was able to do is put the Zeus rails on, and then so you can set your depth so that when your hood's on there, it don't look like crap, you know, because you go up to somebody's car and the hood's up higher here and down really low here and stuff like that. It just doesn't look clean, especially on a car, you know, that's this nice. So we've got the hood now where it literally should sit, you know, freaking perfect. It still is carbon parts, you know, and stuff. So I mean, it's not, you're not gonna get true perfection, but I mean, you should get really close off of that. And what we've done is he had the front two ones were actually bolted in just so that it's really secure, because he had a problem at one point of the hood lifting up on a pass. So we've got 2 bolts in the front end, and then I actually reverse riveted it this way from this side because it's really hard to get the rivet gun in this way instead of putting little screws in. Originally we were going to bolt these. Mike actually slotted all these so they can be moved up and down for adjustments, but here's what happens. You can see on this one right here from the past is all it does is tear, you know, because there's just not, when you drill this out to a decent sized hole, there's just not a lot of meat left on the bone. So I went ahead and was able to use these holes that nobody has ever used. So there was no holes in the carbon there, or, you know, that's not drilled out, and rivet it from the backside. And we were actually talking yesterday at the track yesterday afternoon, and a lot of people hasn't even ever seen these. So you have these things that are called backing plates for your rivets. So being I went in through the backside of the fiberglass, you know, I put them in through, let's see here, they go through like that. As you can see, I use these backing plates put on these for rivets. So all it is like a little washer, and you can slip it on either side, but you just put them on before you actually pull the rivet, and that just gives you more surface area to bite. Because, you know, number one problem is you'll see people having issues with rivets pulling through stuff, and it's because they don't use a backup you know, plate on it. So if you're going to be riveting carbon or fiberglass and you want it to actually last and not pull through, make sure you put a backing plate on it before, you know, you do that. On this hood, another thing that we went ahead and did, which I talked about in some of the other videos, is I went ahead and put a door edge protector. So it's, you go to your parts store and it's just that clear, you know, edge protector that goes on like car doors. Being this is going to be pulling down on the cowl, you know, you'll have it or Zeused in there, but then as airflow is going over, it's pushing it down on the cowl. I just wanted to put this on the edge so that the painted part, your painted part, is not riding and vibrating on another painted part, because that's how you bust the edges all up, you know, over time. And then, you know, that way this is, you know, a nice rubber piece that's sitting on a painted part. The hood may have to be clearanced some in the back here after they cut the center out, because the windshield's bowed out a little bit more this time, it looks like. So we're not going to put one up here, but I told Randy that if he wants to later, once this is all fit, that we really should run one across here also. That way, you know, the weight pushing down on the hood, it's putting rubber against your optic armor and not your nice painted edge against your optic armor. So we went ahead and did out on both sides. I'll show you, walk in here real fast and show you what I used in case you want to go to your parts store and grab some, or in case you want to order some off of Amazon. So this is the piece that we used. You just go to your parts store, and it's called Door Edge Guard. This just comes with 2 pieces. This is just what they had on the shelf this morning. So as you know, it says prevents chips and nicks and stuff like that. That is the part number if you want to try to search it on Amazon and get it to your door versus going to your local parts store. I got this actually at O'Reilly's, but I'm sure any of your parts stores will probably have it. And as you can see in the picture, it's supposed to just go over to door edge. That is going to be a wrap for today. I know John said to make sure we get a lot of video, and I know y'all wanted a lot of video, but there's really nothing to show. I mean, we put the car together, got some springs installed in here. So on the doors, I built a bracket. You can't really see it, but there's a spring right there on the door just to keep these in the position they needed to be, because before they just flopped all over the place and they were never right. So that's everything for my end. It's going to another shop tomorrow for brakes and some other odds and ends on it, and then I'll have a couple more things to button up on it probably Thursday night or Friday at the track, really small stuff. The alignment's just absolutely terrible right now, so that's one thing that they've got to take care of. And then we have to get like some different screws for these panels, because the screw holes back here fit for them, but all these up here are a little bit more bigger. So that's going to be something that we'll wrap up at the racetrack like either Thursday night or Friday. So, but besides that, that's it. We'll have to go back and paint all this stuff down here later. We're not worried about that right now. Randy's actually just gonna put some primer on it. But that's it. We got, like I said, the Zeus rails in the front end, everything cleaned up. The biggest thing was just the alignment on all the doors and all the panels, and we can't put no Zeus fasteners in because he didn't have the black Zeuses, so another shop's gonna install all of that. But that's gonna be a wrap on this video. I'll make sure I bring y'all a bunch of content at the track this weekend, and during the testing and any other little things we run into. I'm gonna do all the behind the scenes stuff and let John have all of the racing content as normal. Like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will catch y'all this weekend at the track. So it's back in the box, covering it up. Off to the next shop she goes.